Order the special Park and Recreation Commission meeting of June 28th, 2021 at 7 p.m. And the purpose of today's meeting is to discuss the, Alicia, what's the formal? I want to call it the Rock Project because that's what's in front of me, but is there a formal name for it?
So there is it's a rock labyrinth essentially.
Okay. So the basis of this was we had a number of questions and we weren't sure if we were going to have answers, but it looks like we've got everything done. So we can sort of vote on proceeding tonight, correct?
Possibly. So I did reach out to because we just got this today. So I did reach out to our insurance agent. And so she just wanted to kind of run through this and just double check things before we're, totally okay with everything for the town. But other than that, it does look like they have a fair amount of answers to everything here.
Okay. All right. So we had seven questions, which we wanted to go over. And Alicia, maybe you can look at them and sort of give your point of view on it, and then we'll take any commissioner input there is, and then any input from our guests, should they have any. How's that sound?
Sure.
Okay.
So the first, question that we had was about who's covering the insurance of the build. And so the response that we have gotten was that the install is going to be covered by Cataldo Landscaping, who's donating their services. So they already have a certificate of insurance for the town of Littleton. But like I said, I wanted to reach out to our insurance agent because I want to make sure we're doing everything by the books. So she will take a look at everything tomorrow, and we will discuss during the day tomorrow.
Okay. All right. And the next question we had was who's going to maintain this, and was there an agreement with anybody to do the maintenance? And I see that really right now it's just going to be sort of some volunteer maintenance.
From Geraldine Miller and her friends and family. Kimberly Albertelli, it looked like she was here tonight, so I don't know if she wants to speak to working with the Girl Scouts.
Sure, absolutely. The Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts have actually jumped on board and said that as long as I keep them updated with what needs to be done, they're all on board. And this is one of those things that, somebody doing an Eagle Scout project would be delighted to tackle at the end of their year. So yeah. It's a nice thing to hang on to. Mm-hmm.
Is there a specific troop number or troop numbers?
So we have 2 Boy Scout troops, Troop 20 and Troop 1. Okay. And then there are 20 Girl Scout troops in town.
What? I
had no idea. I had no idea. I don't have girls in Girl Scouts, so I had no idea. So I happen to be friends and neighbors with the 6th grade incoming, and she said that they would be delighted to have that be a pet project as time goes on. So we've got 6 years with them before they graduate and get done. So I just don't see that as being a something that people will ignore. I think as long as we stay on it, they will stay on it. Yes.
Tim?
So Kim, just from working with them before, is there any way that you can get this to be a Girl Scouts Silver Award project? Because the thing with the Girl Scouts instead of the Boy Scouts is the Silver Award. The Girl Scouts, by their bylaws, are required to do it for perpetuity. As long as, so that only applies to the Silver Award. The Eagle Scout, it doesn't count with, but if you do a Silver Award project, they have to take care of it it never ends. As long as the Girl Scouts are still the Girl Scouts, they have to send a troop to keep it up.
I love the way you think. I have some other things I'm going to invite the Girl Scouts along on now that I know this rule.
So I actually found that out because I was trying to get the gazebo fixed in Fay Park, and it came up that was a Silver Award, and they did all of the maintenance and everything for free last summer, or the summer before COVID. So that was one thing I found out from the regional rep. So just in this instance, it might be better just because it does lock in the organization.
I'm delighted to do that. And because there are so many troops, it doesn't make it be such an overwhelming thing to do. And I did include in the email earlier who the town overseer for this Girl Scouts is. It's Diane McDonald. So I'm happy to reach out and keep chatting with that. Yep.
Great.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
That is good information.
All right. So let's see. So that answers that question, Fred.
Okay, 3, no plantings, so that's good. It's like my yard. 4, no paint. So you're only going to have paint to paint the rocks on opening, and it's not going to. You're not going to have people showing up thinking, "Oh, well, now I can come paint some rocks today. It's a new day."
So there's going to be no painting on site ever. There could be a situation where somebody paints a rock at home and can add it to it. That's going to be welcomed and adored. And so that will be an ever-changing display, which is great, but there will be no buckets of paint that people will, no.
So I think that question, that was something I had brought up at the last park commission meeting. So I think we the intention that I meant for that kind of got a little bit off topic, but I think what I meant was, how do we ensure that because we do want people to bring rocks and add to it and let it grow over the years. But how do we make sure that we don't end up with, oh, well, it would be really cool if we start painting the rock wall and add that in there. And then, as the maintenance guys are trying to mow the grass and they find all these like painted rocks everywhere and, they start losing their mind because it's, jamming up their lawnmowers and things like that. So that was more of the question of like, how do we make sure that it stays contained within that area of the labyrinth?
That is an excellent question. And I think we're just going to have to make that be part of the diligence of the maintenance of it. So I think if the Girl Scouts are being sort of given that quality, we need to show them, here's what it looks like. Here's what it should always look like. You can add more rocks, you can subtract some rocks, but you can't put them all over the place. This is a contained project.
Yeah.
And I think we have to do that. And hopefully we can embark with enough young parents that will see what we've done and not get too far. I think once you started talking about the things, I could imagine my daughter, who's now 21, but would have been she would have been inspired by that labyrinth and thought, oh, these rock walls need some color. So I understand your question.
Yeah, if I could jump in too, there's going to be a sign with a little description of what the labyrinth, and we can make sure it says this is the only part where painted rock should go and paint should go. But Geraldine's going to come up with that verbiage, so.
Okay.
Instructions.
And we are getting a kiosk out there. So that's something that, depending on what kind of sign you guys are looking at putting up out there, we also will have access to a kiosk at the park as well.
Okay, so we good on that? All right, now the next question was, I guess we want to discuss what happens if there's any vandalism and how we're going to address those issues. So I guess we'll let the rock people lead that off.
I think we should send Jean over to beat them up. She lives very close by and she can be diligent.
I can do that.
She's feisty.
If we don't need anybody hearing this and responding to that. So speaking for the park commission, I think we do not endorse beating anybody up. So
Agreed. Tongue in cheek.
Oh, darn.
Completely tongue in cheek.
All right. Well, if we need to be clear, believe me, we'll get a phone call otherwise.
Oh, geez.
So how would you like to handle that if there is something that happens to it, which wouldn't necessarily be a surprise, whether it's intentional or unintentional?
I mean, what we've done in the past is that, we call the police, we write up a police report. And hopefully, there's not going to be any large monetary, I guess, value associated with whatever vandalism it is. We put up that brand new fence out there and someone already ran into the one end of it and completely blew out two of the poles. So, and that's been up for maybe a month. So it is something, we definitely do have concern about because that's stuff that we've got to go back out and fix and maintain. So, as far as monetarily, that I'm not entirely sure because we did not get the funds this year from capital to cover any major equipment. So, we would have less to work with this year than we have in previous years. Hopefully we can change things moving forward into the 2020 fiscal year, or I should say 23, believe it or not, we're about to go into 2022. Yeah, I'm not really sure with a solid answer on that one. I apologize.
I have an idea. I'm not on cultural council anymore. I just resigned, but I know there's a budget in there for this project. And Jean, I wonder, maybe you could speak to this, but I wonder if there couldn't be some money set aside within the cultural council funds that says, okay, we're going to save out, $1,000 or 500 or, some amount in case, there's damage. It's really, they're going to be 4x4s set in the ground, stone dust, and then a couple of big boulders, which nobody will be able to move, and the rocks that the kids put down. So I'm not sure, really what kind of vandalism is going to happen. And even if it does, it's not like a piece of play equipment or anything.
I'm not sure about setting aside. I'm not muted, am I?
No, you're on.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I'm not sure about setting aside money because each year we do get more maintenance money. So if something happened in another year, again, we would have some money. But we are supposed to spend all our money every year. Because otherwise, what happens. So I'm not sure, especially since, $500 or $1,000 would be one of the projects that other projects that we're able to fund. So we'd have to talk about it at the Cultural Council. I guess maybe we're naive, but I hadn't really thought too much about vandalism, and I know it happens. So I suppose if it gets ripped apart, then we'll have to have a meeting and talk about it. But I'm not sure I'm comfortable. It was a good idea, Kim, but I'm just not other Kim. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it would work for the way our budget works. Mm-hmm. But I think that if there was something that happened and there were a couple $100 involved, we'd find it somewhere. I'm not. The town seems to be pretty much behind this, and we haven't even approached any the Rotary or any organizations like that who are often happy to help out with things like this. So I think it will be okay. Pollyanna says.
Okay. Alicia, did you have any other questions? Anybody else?
Let's see. So there's two other questions that were on here. So one was, how long will the park need to be closed for the build? And it says for 1 day for install. I think someone else, one of the park commissioners had mentioned if it was possible to sort of create space around that so that the public could still use the playground while that's being built. I'm not sure what kind of equipment Cataldo's is going to have. So that's a question of, if there's heavy machinery, I'd feel more comfortable just closing it for the day. And, if he's just kind of using a little, I don't know, like a bobcat digger, maybe it's possible to cordon off an area.
Yeah, I don't know what size equipment he's going to use, but
Well,
it
the
might
Cataldos might have a take
be,
on that
assume
particular
you're going to
question
close
too.
it off.
Yeah, I think that was my suggestion. I was one of the people that suggested that. I think if we have that discussion, or somebody has that discussion with Cataldo and see what they're,
Yeah.
Probably between Cataldo and the insurance would get some pretty strong feedback as to which way to go on that. So,
Yep.
Good point. Yeah.
but it seems like, given the location, it seems like both the basketball courts and really, if you come around the backside to enter Castle, you're pretty far away from there, and they can have kind of a straight path from the parking lot to the work site without interfering with much else.
Okay, anybody else?
Should we just have Mike Cataldo put pylons around, cones around to protect the area? Is that what we should ask him to do, or should we just assume to close?
Gesundheit. I would say it would be good for us to chat with him and just see,
Yeah.
like, if he's coming in with a giant backhoe, then I think just safety wise, and for him too, just so that he can focus on what he's doing and not worry about kids running around. So yeah, it just depends on how involved the actual installation would be.
I suspect the
I think
insurance
Saul's right.
people want it to close. I don't know. I suspect
They
the
may.
insurance
So,
people. Yeah. This may be moot. It could
yeah.
just.
So yeah, I will hear back from her tomorrow on their take on it. And then the last question that was on here was if there's any damage done to the surrounding grass or other areas, who's going to be responsible for that build. It's fair. The grass there is not really great. So that is a touche. But as far as I guess if there's any serious damage, it looks like Mike is willing to repair that. He still owes us a tree, though. If you can get him to bring a tree with him, that'd be great.
Where does it go? Where is it?
That was Joe. Yeah.
Or
You want a dead tree? I got one.
where should it go?
I can talk
Is
with
it
Mike. There's a
for-
couple places we can put it.
Okay.
All right. So I think, Fred, that's all that
Okay.
we had on that list that Geraldine had written back with. So I don't know if our commissioners have other questions or thoughts.
Well, Saul's muted himself, so I think he's good. Anybody else? I think we needed to go over this so that if they're going to move forward, at least we've made sure we've discussed all the relevant issues. Anybody else have anything? All right. What do you want us to do, Alyssa? You want us to vote on approving moving forward, or you want to wait till you've spoken to the insurance company?
I mean, you guys have already taken a vote to move forward with the project. I think this was more of just we wanted to tie up all of the loose ends and make sure that some of the questions that we had were answered and that we feel like we have a pretty solid path forward. So that's up to you guys if you feel that way. And I can always, like I said, get back to you on to everyone that's here tonight, what the advice of the insurance agent is, just to make sure that we're doing everything by the book.
All right. I think that sounds good. So we all set? Anyone?
I think so.
All right.
I would just like to say I appreciate the backing of Park and Rec and other officials for this public art event that we're pushing. Thank you.
Very much.
Our pleasure. You're welcome. All right. the most important part of the evening. Do we have a
Motion to adjourn?
There we go.
I was going to say, wait, are we excused?
You are.
You can leave anytime you
Thank
want.
you so much for coming.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody?
I make a motion to adjourn. That was what I was doing. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All
Already
right.
did
Do we have a second?
Second that.
All right. All in favor? Saul,
Yes.
Aaron,
Aye.
Mike, blink if you.
Mike's a yes.
Yes as well. All right. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thanks.
everybody. I appreciate it.
Y'all
Thank
have
you.
a nice evening and a nice 4th of July, and we'll see you next month.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Toodles.